Hey guys, it's Tark with UVTCA, and as we do your drone build, we're going to now cover the transmitter, the FrSky X9Lite that you have, and you're going to need to get this out of the box, and basically you're not going to do much to it. Just once you get it out of the box, we can get it on the table here, and I'm going to show you a couple things to do, so let me go ahead and just get right into it. We're going to do a picture-in-picture again. So here we go. Let me zoom out of there so you can get a little bit better view. All right, so what we've got right now is we've got the two 18650 batteries that we're going to need to put inside here. So to do that, we're going to simply just open the back. I say simply, but I don't have. There we go. And it's going to go, you're going to go with the ground or negative to the left and then the positive to the right. So we're going to put the first battery in like this. The next battery, you're just going to kind of pop in there and slide to press against the spring. And then it'll just pop right in just like that. Okay, to make sure you've got it in right, just go ahead and hold your power button down and you're going to see it boot up. You do have to hold the power button down for a few seconds. If you let it go during that stuff, it will stop and not finish booting up. You're going to get a screen here, and just make sure all your switches are pushed away from you, down and away. And it says your failsafe isn't set, which is fine. We're going to deal with that in a little bit, but let's go ahead. It says just press any key, so hit exit. Now we're at model 1, which is where we want to start, right? But to do this properly, we're going to have to go ahead and plug it into the computer, and we want to do some updates because you're going to be flying this. This is the little drone that we just built, right? So you're going to be flying this one, but to do this, you have to get the radio compatible with this format. Now, you can see right here it says it's an access format, which is a type of protocol or a language that it speaks. But there's also an ACCST, which is an older protocol, which is what's on this drone. We need to get it compliant, so we're going to do an update right now. I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the computer, you're going to see the links here, by the way, on our page. So please, by all means, follow the links. But I'm just going to show you the steps on how it works. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you our computer first. So let me just do that real quick. And let me do this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is you can use our links right now, but the links, I'm also going to show you the website that these come from, okay? And I'm going to give you a little, you'll see at the bottom of our page there are little ways you can find these pages too. OpenTX is the company that makes the firmware and the software for this radio. And so we're going to go to their website and we're going to download it, okay? And so if you want to do this, then you can go through the website or you can just download the links that we provide you. So if you go to opentx.org and you scroll down, you're going to find under the news here, under installation, it says news, and it gives you the newest version. In this video, the newest version is going to be the OpenTX 2.3.9. Now, I've already installed that on my computer, okay? But you'll want to click it like this. And actually, this is the second time I've done this. So let me close this again. And I'm going to scroll down. Now, what you want to see is when you click that link, it's going to take you to right here. 2.3.9 Windows installer. Now, we're going to be doing this based on a Windows format. So please, by all means, just stick with that. Click it, and you're going to start the download process, which is right here. And it's moving extremely fast, and you're good to go, okay? Once you find that file and extract it, you're just going to click it and extract it. It's very simple to do. And, well, I guess, you know what? We'll just go ahead and do it. So here goes. Let me just go ahead and extract it. Okay, and you're going to click yes here. And we're just going to walk through this. I mean, it really is simple stuff, okay? And there we go. And that's it. So once we get to that part, we want to go through this part here and click next. And then it's going to tell you if you, it's going to ask you if you want to run it. You can go ahead and run it. It doesn't matter. So run it, click finish. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to create a radio profile. Now I just did this, but unfortunately I had to stop the video because we had, excuse me, the website for OpenTX was down, so nothing was working properly. So forget this screen here because you won't see this before. You won't see it until you've actually loaded the file. So I'm going to go and delete my profile, so please just kind of ignore this. This is the profile I made for you. So I'm going to delete that real quickly. All right, now that we're in OpenTX, the first thing we want to do is we want to create a profile. The radio is an X9Lite. That's the first thing you have to remember, okay? So you've got an X9Lite. So what we want to do is we want to go to, we can go ahead and make the screen just a little bit bigger, I guess. Oops, let me go here. Okay, all right. So what we want to do is we want to go to settings, radio profiles, and then just click add radio profile, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to name this. So let's call it X9Lite. It's exactly what the radio is. And then under our options, under our radio type here, scroll down until you find X9Lite. Make sure you don't select X-Lite or X9Lite S. Select only the radio that's yours, which is the X9Lite. So click that, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click no heli. I'm not going to mess with the rest of these because this is beyond what we're going to be doing this semester. So right now we're just going to do no heli because we're not flying anything but drones right now, okay? Now, we're going to skip the splash screen. We're going to go to the SD structure path. Now, we don't have an SD card in here out of the box. It doesn't come with one. But I do advise you to get one and use one if you want. It does allow you to use the audio commands. There's voice commands and other features on there. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't use an SD card, then this won't really matter. But I'm going to kind of urge your teacher to hopefully get you an SD card for this. So we're going to go ahead and assume that we're using an SD card. So we're going to select the folder path. Now, it hasn't been created yet, all right, but we have to create a folder for our radio. In that folder, we're going to store a bunch of files that we're going to use when we update it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to desktop, and I've already done this, and I created a folder called X9Lite Transmitter. So go to your desktop and create this folder, X9Lite Transmitter. And in that folder, I want you to make two subfolders, one that's called SD card and one that's called backup. The SD card is what you're going to select for this location, so click it, click select folder, okay. Whoops, okay, it appears, sorry, there's a delay. And then for your backup folder, you're going to click select folder, and you're going to go to your backup right there and just click select folder again, and you're going to see it populate here. All right, so you want to make one folder called whatever it is, and I put it on my desktop because it's easy to find, and then under that you make an SD card folder, and then you make a backup folder because it's going to ask you where you want these two to go. You want to go ahead and select down here to enable automatic backup, so go ahead and do that. Select the next two options. You can ignore these right here. They should say mode 2 and RETA. The next two options down here are going to be append version number to file name and offer to write to the transmitter after download. Click both of those, and then go up to the top tab here and click application settings. On here, the only thing you really want to do is make sure you select your backup folder again, and again you're going to go to your X-Lite transmitter folder and select backup again and click select folder. Everything else needs to look just like this, so make sure you have show splash screen, automatic, and you don't have to show splash screen, I guess, if you don't want to. Automatic check for companion updates, remove empty model slots, enable automatic backup. All this is great. When you're done and you verify that your screen looks like mine, just click OK. All right? Now, you've just told the system what your profile is, what radio you've got, and what you want to do with it. Okay? So now that that's set, we need to download the firmware that we need to put in our radio. Okay? So here's what we're doing. We're going to click this button right here, download. And what we want to do is we want to download firmware. So click it. And you're going to get a message. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. Here's what you want to do. You want to go to your desktop folder that you just created for your X9Lite, which is right here, right? And then you want to just make a folder in there. If you're not going to use an SD card, just do new folder and call it firmware. Okay? There you go. And then when you do that, you can double click that. And I would do another folder called open-tx. Okay, and then double click that and place this file in there. Click save, and it's going to automatically download it. Now, it's going to ask if we want to write it, but I don't have the radio hooked up yet, so the answer is no. So we're going to click no. Okay, now you can download the SD card contents if you're going to use an SD card, but assuming that you don't have one right now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you, I'm going to get the cable that we need to bind this. So you need to get a micro USB cable like this one right here. Okay, so you can see that right there. And it's going to plug into the bottom of this radio, but you got to wait. Okay, first thing you want to do is turn your radio off. So let's go ahead and let me just swap these screens. Hold the power button, watch the dots disappear, and turn your radio off. Okay, now it's off. Now, you need to put your radio in a mode so that it can be programmed. So what we're going to do is you're going to take these two sliders, right? So if you look here, that's these two sliders right here, and you're going to hold them in. Hold them to the center like that, and as you do that, press the power button. Hold on, I got a phone buzzing back there. Let me see if I can get all this to stop ringing, guys. There we go. There you go. Sorry about that. Everybody's got drone contests going up, so everybody's caught. Let me turn this off and show you again what to do. So while you hold it in, press the power button and let go quickly. And I don't know if you saw that, so let me try it again. I'm going to turn this off. Hold them in, and then you're going to press and let go the power button. Ready? Watch this. There you go, just like that. That's going to put you into this screen right here. And then what happens is you plug in your USB cable to the bottom. Okay, just like that. And now your screen's going to say USB connected, and now you're going to see the computer change. And look at that. So this is the onboard memory that's on your transmitter. Now, if you had a memory card in there, you would also pull up another folder. Okay, so let me close that. And what I want to do now is I want to I already downloaded it, but I didn't have my radio connected, right? So I want to download the firmware now to my radio. So I'm going to click OK and close this, and I'm going to come over here to this side, right? And if you look at these options, this one right here, the third one from the bottom, if you hover over it, it says write firmware to radio. I'm going to click that. And it's going to ask me, where am I getting my firmware from? Well, we saved it, remember? So we're going to go to Desktop, X9Lite Transmitter, firmware, OpenTX, and sure enough, there it is right there. Highlight it and click open. And make sure it says use firmware start screen. Make sure it says check hardware compatibility. Leave everything at the default. And now click write to TX. And it's actually updating the firmware as we speak, okay? Now, the steps that are different because we're not using an SD card, it's pretty simple though. It's going to be a little different, but it's pretty simple. We're going to click close right here, all right? Now we know that our firmware, but I want you to look at something. If I show you the screen, look at the screen right here, and you can see without any struggle, you're going to see that it says bootloader is 2.3.0, right? But we just loaded 2.3.9 firmware. But what that did was that did not load the bootloader firmware that we also need to load. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. First thing you're going to want to do, let me make a big screen on this one, so hang tight 1 second. Okay, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to eject this radio now, okay? But to do that, you need to go to your USB icon at the bottom here. You need to right click on it and left click on eject Tyrannus. And there it goes. Once it says it's safe to remove, go ahead and pull the USB cable out of your radio, okay? And now I'm going to show you the picture-in-picture of this. Okay, now that it's disconnected, you're gonna see on your screen here. Sorry, let me do this real quick. You're gonna see on your screen here where it says write firmware, restore EEPROM, or exit. Just scroll down to exit. Okay, and it's going to reboot itself. Still says failsafe. That's fine. Just hit exit. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to turn the power off. Okay. Now this time we're going to plug in our USB again, but we're not going to do the holding the sliders in. We're just going to plug it in. So watch what happens. When I plug this in normally, just like that, okay, my computer has automatically detected that it's plugged in, but nothing's happening on my screen here, right? Now I want to write the firmware again. In this mode, the firmware will update the bootloader now, and not just the firmware on the transmitter. Okay, when the transmitter was on in that mode that we did in that DFU mode, it allowed us to update the firmware, and that did the actual flight controller or the transmitter. Now we're going to update just the bootloader. So watch how that works. So once you plug your USB in and your screen is off like this, all you're going to do is you're going to go back to this icon right here and that says write firmware, and you're going to make sure that you have the right firmware selected. So you're going to go to your desktop, X9Lite transmitter, firmware, OpenTX, and highlight this. With your transmitter off, you're going to click write to TX. And you see now the screen is different. Now it's actually writing to the bootloader, okay? And when this is done, we're going to turn this on. You're going to see that the bootloader now says 2.3.9 and not 2.3.0, okay? So let's give it a second. And this is how you do this if you don't have a memory card. If you had a memory card, you would basically plug it in, and you would update this from the memory card. But let's just do it this way. So we're going to wait a minute. It's almost done. All right, 95%. Come on, 6, 7, 8, 9, and boom, it's done. Now I'm going to click close. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my USB port here, and I'm going to click eject STM32. Now it is in DFU mode. We're going to eject this. So click eject. Unplug your radio. Okay. And now let's go back to the radio itself. And here we go. Now we're going to turn it on. Okay, and what we're going to see here, okay, we got our failsafe. Okay, so let me show you now what happens if we hold menu down and we click page and we just keep going. Okay, now we can set up our date, and we'll go do all that in just a minute. But what I want to do is I want to go keep pressing it until I get to my version here. Okay, and so let's go to our firmware options. All right, everything here looks good, and our go to our module options. Excellent, everything looks good here. Okay, so what we want to do is we're looking at our version here, and it's 2.3.9, okay? And we're going to keep clicking page. All right, once we're done with that, here's what we can do. We can turn this off, and just like we did before, we can hold the center buttons in, press power real quick and let go, and look at that. You see at the top here, we now have 2.3.9 OpenTX firmware, okay? So we're just going to click exit now. I just wanted to show you that. So we're going to click exit. We're going to go back to our menu now. Okay, hit exit for failsafe. And we're ready to go. So what we've done just now is we have now programmed the radio to be able to be compliant for both for all firmware options, including the FrSky Apis MQ60 that we're going to be flying in your class. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up our model. All right. So let's go ahead and end the video here. You guys make sure you got your radio set up properly. All right. And if you have any questions about that, you can just post them here and we'll be able to answer them back for you. But this should get you exactly where you need to be so that you can do your updates. All right. So hang tight, and I'll be back with the next video, which will cover how to set up your model in here, and we're going to get started from there. All right, guys, have fun, safe flying. Please take your time on this. You guys are going to have a blast. I can't wait to see you flying soon. Peace.